So let's review the powers of 2. When I say powers of 2, that means our base is 2. If 2 is raised to 1, what is 2 raised to 1? It's 2. When 2 is raised to 2, 2 times 2, you have 4. When 2 is raised to 3, you have 2 times 2 times 2, you have 8. When 2 is raised to 4, you have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, you have 16. How about 2 raised to 5? Or you just continue this times 2. 16 times 2, 32. 2 raised to 6. If you multiply 2 5 times, it's 32. You multiply it 6 times, just multiply 32 by 2, you have 32 times 2, 64. Same thing with your powers of 3. So what are your powers of 3? Say I have 3 raised to 1, 3, 3 raised to 2, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, I should say, 9. 3 cubed, 3 times 3 times 3, 27. About 3 raised to 4, 81, 3 raised to 5, 2, 4, 3, and so on. But our focus in our next set of examples would be for powers of 2. Later on, might be in some topics in the future, you might be considering powers of 3 or 4 or 5. At least, that we start from 2. So that's what you do with the powers of 2, powers of 3, and so on. So in our next set of examples, let's try to simplify its root. Now, we're not only limited to cube root or square root, but now we have other roots like sixth root, fifth root. In finding the square root, simply think of a number which when multiplied by itself twice gives you that number. For cube roots, the same concept. You have to find a number which when multiplied by itself 3 times will give you that number. But for sixth root, it's the same concept. You have to find that number, which when multiplied by itself 6 times will give you that number. So what's it? 64, sixth root of 64 x raised to 6. You can express this in exponential form, the radicand 64. We encountered a while ago, right? 64 is the same as 2 raised to 6. You multiply 2 6 times, you get 64. So you have 2 raised to 6, x raised to 6. Now to get the square root, the sixth root, you can divide all exponents by 6. So now we have 2 raised to 6 over 6, x raised to 6 over 6. What's the result? 2 raised to 1, x raised to 1 is simply 2x. And that's our answer. Okay. That's number 8. For fifth root of 32, you can express 32 as an exponential form. What number will give you 32 if you multiply it 5 times? It's going to be 2. So that means we have, looking at the powers of 2 here, 32 is the same as 2 raised to 5. All right, so that's 2 raised to 5. We have a fifth root there, a raised to 5. In order to find the fifth root, we divide each exponent by 5. So we have and you have 2, 5 divided by 5, a raised to 5 divided by 5. And so what do we have? 2a. So you have 2a. You have cube root of negative x raised to 6. Well, we know the coefficient of x raised to 6 here. What's the coefficient of x raised to 6 here? It's negative 1. Right, so we have cube root of negative 1 x raised to 6. It's good to separate the two. should not be writing this. A number will give you negative 1 when you multiply by itself. 3 times. It will be negative 1 raised to 3. Oh, wait. I should. So for cube root of negative x raised to 6, we can rewrite this as cube root of negative 1 x raised to 6. And we can rewrite negative 1 into exponential form. It's negative 1 raised to 3. Okay. Then x raised to 6. And then after that, we divide the exponent by 3. So this is negative 1 raised to 3 over 3. X raised to 6 over 3. So what's the result? What do we have? 3 divided by 3 is 1, so that would be negative x raised to 2. Okay. So that's negative 1x raised to 2, or just negative 1x squared. Fifth root of negative 32x raised to 5. Let's think of that negative 32. What number will give you negative 32 when you multiply it 5 times? We've seen the powers of 2 already, right? For 32, you can write it as 2 raised to 5. How about negative 32? Can you write it as negative 2 raised to 5? Yes, okay. So go quantity negative 2 raised to 5, x raised to 5. And then to get your fifth root, just divide its exponent by your index here, 5. So that's negative 2 raised to 5 over 5, x raised to 5 over 5. And what's this? Negative 2 raised to 1, or just negative 2? X raised to 1, or simply x. So we have negative 2x.